welcome back to Boring. We got Tarrik. Is that how you say your name?
Tarrik.
Tarrik.
Yes, sir.
I just butchered the name right out front.
It's all good.
Mental health, self-help individual.
Yes, sir.
How you been dealing this whole COVID times?
Bro, it's been blessed. It's been a new opportunities, eye-opening. It's just changing, just watching how society is reacting, how jobs have been changed, seeing anxiety and depression in people grow.
So what do you do?
So right now...
give the audience some back spin of you.
Yeah, for sure. So what I do right now is I'm doing some personal coaching with people with mental health and self-development. I started an organization called Your Vision, basically helping people become their best versions of themselves. Do you want me to get a little bit about myself and how I got started with all of this?
Yeah, I want to know that, but continue with what you're doing, and then we'll get into that.
So what we do right now is just, if you're struggling with something like mental health, depression, self-confidence, fears, doubts, worries, what we have is programs set up for you to help overcome whatever it is holding you back, whatever it's been in your life and your struggles to get past it,
Yeah. What got you into all that? Because that's not people don't work on themselves.
It's
not even it's the younger generations it starts late on in life, which is weird.
And that's the thing that I look as my advantage, because me, I'm 22 years old, I'm talking about mental health and I'm talking about self-development. So you asked what got me into it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, my life's always been a little bit of a struggle. Growing up, it was just my mother, 4 brothers. Every day was a struggle. And I grew up playing sports and seeing my mother struggle and trying to find a way to provide for her. And through that, a lot of stress inside of me built up, a lot of stuff that I didn't know, but turned out to be anxiety. A lot of feelings of guilt and shame came to me, because what my goal was to help my mother become out of that situation, make sure that she doesn't need to pay bills, doesn't have to worry about us, that I'd be the one to provide.
How do you describe anxiety to someone? Because I don't know if some people don't know what that is. They could be experiencing it but don't realize it, or they just don't want to deal with it.
So the simplest way to describe anxiety, I would say, is nervousness. So when you're nervous about something, you have an interview for a job, you have a first date with a girl, that's normal. But for me, anxiety is when you're nervous to go to school, you're nervous to go to work, and it's hitting you at random times in the day, a weird feeling in your chest. And you don't know where this is coming from. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling stuck or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think I've actually experienced anxiety in my life.
Yeah.
It's just weird to say that, because maybe I have. I just was whatever, it's life.
There's a lot of people don't really know or realize they're experiencing mental health. For myself, for the longest time, I didn't know that I was experiencing those things or those symptoms. For me, I was always distracted playing sports or going out or hanging out or doing whatever. And it wasn't until I started being alone with myself and alone with my thoughts.
That's what I'm talking about. Alone time.
Yo, alone time. It's a real thing. And I started this job where working in a restaurant where there's a lot of stress and pressure.
Yeah.
And I never really understood why I was so nervous going to work. I would be going to work and I'd be thinking about everything that's going to happen. I need to make
sure. At work?
Before I'm at work. So before I'm at work.
Wait. So was it the atmosphere?
It was the atmosphere, yes. But in a way, it was my anxiety, because I was so nervous about thinking that something bad was going to happen before it happened.
Was this only work that you're concerned about? Maybe the pan might fall, or
work
you might mix up the order, or is it you?
Like that. But that's where it started. So I'd be worried about messing up someone's order. I'd be worried about dropping glasses. And this is before I start my shift.
Way before you, minutes?
On my way to work, I'm just thinking of constantly messing up. I'm nervous, I'm anxious.
And that's what you say anxiety is?
I'd say anxiety is that. And it's a feeling of just nervousness that's hitting you at all times of the day. Sometimes it comes to people in different ways, sharp pains, panic attacks.
Have you ever experienced a panic attack?
No, but I have people close to me who have experienced panic attacks. It's a scary thing. It's an undescribable pain that can happen at any time. Because what happens is your brain, all the stress or trauma that was built up in you, your brain can't take it no more. So it goes to your body. And then like without unconsciously knowing, your body will just shut down and you'll start having like a panic attack from all the stress that hasn't been dealt with or whatever.
Don't pant it up.
Yeah, for real.
Don't build it up.
For real.
It's going to come out.
For real.
What's the craziest anxiety you felt that you can remember to this day that you usually use as like a capsule to when you start to feel anxiety?
For me, like my anxiety never got bad because, you know, thanks to God, like I had a good amount of self-awareness in me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my anxiety was for like everyday things, like literally like something like this.
This would get you.
This would make me anxious. This would give me anxiety. Simple things like that. Like it's like a day-to-day things that people with anxiety deal with.
Yeah, that's actually so funny because that's something I had to figure out myself when I was like, hey, you want to hop on a podcast? And it wasn't even like, because to me, this is normal, right? Putting myself out is normal. I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years. And then I had someone who copped on the podcast. I think it was Will. And he was like, yeah, sometimes some people don't want that out there. And I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Big
I
time.
forgot. But there's levels to it.
Exactly. And like a big part for me was getting past that anxiety and like fear as well, you know?
What do you mean by fear?
Fear. So fear of talking about my problems. Fear about opening up that, like I battled with anxiety. I had feelings of, you know, guilt and shame, like depression inside of me, and stepping out of that and really just using my voice for my generation to talk about it, becoming vulnerable.
Do you ever have people who like look at you weird for being young and talking about this? Because I feel like there's definitely stigma. I mean, I felt it, podcasting especially. It's not really my niche.
I felt like it was a limiting belief in myself. And by that, I mean like it was my own belief that was giving me that limit on myself, because I was saying, you know what, like no one's going to take me serious because I'm 22 years old and I'm talking about self-development. I'm talking about mental health. So I put that on myself. And while I've been doing this, like I haven't experienced anything from anybody older than me, like saying, oh, he's young. But you know, like the bigger I get, you know, the more hate will come, right?
Yeah, it's always anticipated.
Exactly. But I'm not worried about it no more. You know what I mean?
Do you get hate? Have you experienced it yet?
No, not really. All love. I mean, like it probably happens behind my back, but you know, like that's really like if I'm focusing on that, like I'll stay stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are some big things you would say COVID has really struck into people?
I'd say fear. Like
fear?
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's definitely fear because like you were saying, fear is controlling everybody.
It does. Fear controls
like,
people. Big
time. Like the way people are acting, staying home, like socializing with other people has never been so weird. Like there's never been so many like Zoom calls at work, at school. Like kids in this generation that are going to school right now, like in class, bro.
Dude, I wonder how they're gonna grow up.
Like that alone is causing like hidden trauma.
Well, is it mental stability or is it hidden trauma? Because this is the environment that they're growing up in now.
Right.
So this is their normal. That's not mine and your normal. Like Reed did not grow up on phones, online data. Like it was kind of like towards like when we were becoming more self-aware, it started hitting us like, oh snap, there's this thing out there called social media. But now everyone's forced. Right. Because they got like Zoom calls, you got to put your stuff online, you can't interact with other people. It's fascinating. What do you think? Do you think it's a normal or do you think it's more of like a...
I think it's becoming normal, but I don't agree with that because the human body we crave human interaction, right? You know, and it's something that we're missing out on. It's an important fact that we're missing out on.
But would you say it's the same with a Zoom call? Because you're still like talking,
but there's no like physical interaction. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, it's a lot different when you're sitting here versus like calling you on the phone and doing an interview over the phone. It's not the same. I don't get to see your emotions. I don't get to see your face. I don't get to see your reactions.
And even like feeling that energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you can still feel over the phone, but I think it's a lot more work that goes into versus having you sit here.
Yeah, for sure. Big time. I don't know. For me, like kids, I was literally talking about this on the car ride. I was dropping off my fiance's little sister and we were just having this conversation and like And earlier you brought up how do I ever look at my age? And this girl is like 14 years old and she's talking about how like we're starting to feel bad for this generation because everything that they're seeing is like through their phone, through a video game. Like when I was growing up, even when she was growing up, like playing at the park. Like,
she didn't do that?
No, she did do that.
Oh,
but like the kids today, like my little brothers, like all they've been doing like
iPad.
like video games, you know, like Zoom classes.
Yeah.
Like they're missing out on so much in life.
I don't know if it's, and see, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know if that's missing out or if that's just like, if everyone's doing it, you're not really missing out on anything if everyone's doing it.
You don't know what you're missing out on.
That's true. Until you.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. So if this is what you think, I mean, to me as a kid, right? My parents were like, go outside, you know, play some ball, stop playing video games. If I would have been playing video games, who knows? Maybe I could have been a live streamer now. Could have been making millions.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's so crazy because like now it's like all the parents that were telling their kids, like, you know, don't play video games, like go and study. Like,
yeah.
Now these streamers are making millions a year.
Millions.
And like, that's another thing, you know?
Like you just don't know. And there's more money, I would say, in social media than going to school. And it's hard for parents to see that because they don't come from what we are seeing. Like,
honestly, like for me, in my personal belief, I don't believe in school either. Like,
no, like school's great.
It's great.
It gives you foundation.
Yeah, 100%.
Gives you stability.
Stability, right?
Yeah.
That's the key word right there.
But you can learn all of that. Not all of it. Like, you can't become a doctor, right?
Right.
You can't become a doctor at home on a crash course from YouTube.
Exactly. Like doctors and lawyers, like, you know, like go to school if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Like,
yeah.
I agree with that.
Certain things, I mean, I feel like I'll get a lot of backlash for saying that. But certain things you don't need to go to school for. Like, you can learn coding at home. You can learn how to start a business at home. You can teach yourself math at home. You know, like all the fun stuff. But it just sucks because you need to have a degree if you want to do it professionally.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like also about like who you know. But
that's true.
For me, the reason why like I look at education and I look at like finding what you want to do, I look at it with like passion, you know, because there's so much people that are in professional fields that aren't passionate about what they're doing, and it reflects in the way they do their job.
That's true.
Like therapists, like I'm a personal coach, right? And I do that because I've been through my life struggles. I've struggled with mental health. Like I lost my mother. Like I'm a father, and like I can relate to the youth. There's been therapists, like I know a guy that told me a story, like on the verge, like, you know, finding himself, went to see help, like, because he didn't know what he was going to do with his life, right? So he goes to see help, tells his life story in the moment of breaking down, and the therapist taps him on the back and is like, you'll get through this. You're fine, you know? And to me, like in what I do, in what I'm passionate about, to me, that like breaks my heart because I know how it feels to be hurt and to be broken and then to open up and then be like, kind of just, you know, like, this is why like I hold these things inside.
How would you deal with that situation?
For me, I'm a great listener. So like I would listen to your problems, find where it comes from or where it may come from and help you through it and help you learn how to cope with what you deal with in the past traumas.
You'd bring the problem to them and be like, listen, we got to deal with this problem.
Straight up. Like, we got to deal with this problem. Like, I know it's been hurting you. I know it's affecting you in your relationships, your jobs, finding friends, like how you look at yourself. Yeah. And like ask them, like, do you want this to continue to haunt you or do you want to deal with it? And it's like, because I can only help someone as much as they want to be helped.
That's true.
That's just general rule.
Do you usually like end up facing people who aren't facing reality the correct way? Well, it's not like they're not, I wouldn't say, it's weird because it's not like they're not facing reality. They're just not self-aware, not aware of their circumstance. Is that the predominant?
Yeah, like there's a lot of people, and correct me if I'm wrong on your question, there's a lot of people out there right now that are dealing with things and they don't know it. So like 1 in 4 of Canadians will struggle from a mental health condition in their life. For me, I didn't know that the thoughts I was thinking about myself and those weird like stomach turn feelings, like those butterflies in my stomach that I'd be getting like at random times throughout the day, wasn't normal. Like,
well, is it not normal if a lot of people is experiencing it.
And that's the thing. Like, it's becoming a normal. Like, we see the coronavirus as a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, we see it that way, but there's such a bigger pandemic going on.
The mental
health.
Yeah.
Like, mental health
and
systematic racism. Like, there's so many things in the world going on that are huge pandemics that we're not dealing with, right?
Yeah. And it's you know Bradley Martin?
Yeah.
He his gym got closed so many times, and I watched a video of him ranting about how he said physical fitness is mental health.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
All these people, I did not realize this how like what's linked to mental health it was.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
It literally helps shape your brain, exercising.
Yeah, and he was like, you know, these like people come here to relief.
Yeah, it's a part of my program as well. For me, I know that exercising helps me every day to feel better because it's releasing positive endorphins out of my brain, right?
Right.
So when I wake up and I go in the morning, I say I'm gonna work out, and I go and work out and I have a good workout, I'm feeling good about myself. And I set the standard for my day, you know?
Yeah.
And it's such a good stress release to have. Like for me, I was always playing sports.
Right.
And then when I stopped playing sports and I was alone, I wasn't exercising, I wasn't doing anything, I had all that time alone now with my brain.
How'd that make you feel?
Thinking, bro. Like just thinking like.
How many times have you gone down the rabbit hole of loneliness?
Bro, like just all the time when I was by myself, like at night or like on car rides alone.
Yeah.
Just that dark depression, yo. You know when those demons hit, yo? Like
yeah.
Those demons were just hitting and I just feel like, bro, like fight, like literally feeling like fighting demons. And I'm like, bro, like what are you doing? You know, like you said, and it was a false expectation that I set for my own life too.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
I told myself I was going to be at this point in my life, at this age, taking care of my family.
I think we all do that.
Yeah,
we all do some, but it's like you said, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the reality of the situation, that wasn't your reality,
right?
But it was your hopes.
Yeah, exactly. Like even for like everything that you're doing right now, right? Like what is your mantra? Like what do you say to yourself like every day if you have one?
Don't.
You don't? Okay.
I just get up. I have nothing else to do.
Exactly.
So I start doing something.
For me, it was like I always put so much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Like to be something or to provide or to do.
I did that too. But the thing is, I realized I'm like, I got to stop caring so much.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you know, you care so much. You try to make it so perfect to a T, and you spend all this time on perfection.
Yeah.
And you're wasting so much. Like, you don't need to be perfect.
And you just end up beating yourself down, right?
Because even if you get it, you're still like, oh, it could have been better. But it's like, it's great how it is. Just leave it alone.
Now, my mantra is so simple. Like, it's like, if I can help one person, if I can bless one person, like I've already done enough. Right. Obviously, I have bigger aspirations, bigger goals that I want to reach. But if I can just be the best version of myself and know that I went today doing what I could do towards my vision, to my goal, to helping someone else, I'm happy now without seeing the results. You know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah. Do you know the one guy named Rocket, Charlie Rocket?
No.
I think is it Charlie Rocket who's like, get up and say you win? You didn't see that? Okay. It was, I think it's Charlie Rocket. Don't quote me on that, but he has a win set mentality. So I think he became a millionaire in his early 20s. And then he was doing all these record. Do you know what I'm talking about? No. He's doing all these like record label deals, and he was making money off artists and whatnot. He wasn't eating healthy. He wasn't doing anything to help himself. And then one day he was like, time for a win set mentality. So he went to Starbucks, got something, I think it was a coffee, and he was like, I'm winning. This tastes good. So everything he does, he's like, I'm winning. Exactly. A winning mentality.
And like the first win of the day is waking up.
It's true.
Literally.
I think most people don't realize their mindset really, like if you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, I'm so ugly. That's leading your day.
Exactly.
Even if you do that at night, you're going to sleep. You got to look at yourself and be like, damn, what a beautiful person.
Exactly. Like look at yourself. Like I have like words of affirmation that like I tell myself, that I tell like my clients or the people I'm working with. about to tell yourself. Like if you're struggling with like forgiving your father for not being there in your life.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Yeah. If
you can move this. It's movable.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
So if you're struggling like with like your father not being in your life, right? And you're so angry at him and you don't want to forgive him for whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just start by saying, you know what, like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault he wasn't there. I forgive him. Because in one of my videos I posted, it was about forgiveness. And forgiveness is really not for the person that you're forgiving. It's for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, I totally agree with that. And we're still human.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the one thing I really don't like is titles.
Yeah.
I hate titles because you call someone a teacher, and teacher, that gives you like, oh, they must know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're a trusted source.
Exactly.
They're still human. They still have their own opinions, their own thought process,
Mm-hmm.
how they teach. And parents are not perfect.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, that's
but
so true.
You got to remind people we're still just human. We're not perfect.
Exactly. Like we all have our own stories and why we're there. And like, you don't know, like, what if like, you know,
maybe he was afraid.
Exactly.
Maybe he was like, I don't want to influence this child, so I'm going to leave.
Exactly.
Because I know I'm a terrible person.
Exactly.
And I have bad influence.
I won't be able to like raise this child. Like my father wasn't there. Like, you know what? Like, and it's just like generation after generation, right?
Of your generations is the leading.
Pardon?
Of each generation, your father hasn't been there.
So like for me?
Yeah.
No, for me, no. But like, I'm just saying in that example, like sometimes a father not being there, like his father wasn't in his life as well. So he doesn't know how to be a father, right?
Yeah.
So breaking that generational chain and being the first man in your family. Like my father wasn't in my life though, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. No, I was asking if like your generation, because you said generation.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if like your mom's generation was the same or your dad's generation was the same.
My mother's father was there, but yeah.
Okay. Do you want to get into that?
No, it's a little more of a personal relationship with that, with my mother and her father.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Do you want to get into your father?
Yeah. So from the longest time in my life, like I grew up, I think my father left our life when I was like 6 or 7.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 1 sister and 4 brothers. So I have a family of 6 altogether. Wow. Yeah.
Big family.
My mom had, I think, her first kid at like 17. So yeah, my mother is the strongest person I know. And like, that's where I get a lot of my strength from.
Right.
So I think I was like 6 or 7 when my father left my life. And for the longest time, like I just grew up and like that was kind of normal because like where I was living or like the friends that I had, like their dads weren't really there too. And I didn't think I needed him or I didn't think I was missing out on anything in my life. And then one time my dad called me when I was like 12 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom would always be like, yo, talk to your dad. Because like he tried to talk to me, but I haven't forgiven him, right? I was like, nah, like I don't need him. She's like, please just talk to him. And the first thing he said to me was like, I love you. Like, I love you, right?
Yeah.
And when he said that to me, I broke down crying. And I was like, wow, like I've been ignoring an emotion in my heart for so long, right? But my dad was inconsistent. So from that moment on, like there would still go months or years when we'd go by without talking. And then my mother passed away and like he started talking to me like around that time again.
Yeah.
And then that's where we got into that point where we started kind of talking again because like, you know, like he's our dad, like that's our mom. So he came back into our life. So right now we have a relationship where we talk, like I've forgiven him for not being there and he's apologized. I love him. Like that's my dad. And I just want, like, there's a lot of people that don't have their father in their life right now. And like that takes a toll on you. It's forgive him. It's really for you. You don't know what they've been through or what's happening. And you'll see that release out of you because forgiveness is for yourself. It's not for them. Don't hold on to something that is meant to be released. You know what I mean?
I do, yeah. You know, most people who, you have a very traumatic past.
Yeah.
Most people who go through that do not come out the way you have come out.
Yeah, yo, I just like, I don't care no more. Like, this is my passion. Like, I found what I want to do. I know there's so many more people in the world that go through things silently, who have been judged for going through things. So like, I'm just ready to like, just go. Like, I'm 22 years old. Like, let me tell you my story. Like, age is just a number.
Love that.
There's someone who's 50 years old that has
Still struggling.
that's still struggling, that hasn't been through half of the things I've been through. There's someone who's 12 years old that has been through 100 times worse things than I've been through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have used, and it's, age is truly just a number. I think it's the passion behind that will drive you.
Yeah, you can experience a lot in a year.
A lot.
Like if you are 12 and you can experience as much as someone who's 20.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that difficult. You're just that's just your life.
I like how you said in a year, like, this is my year for you right now. Like, had a child, lost my mother, and got engaged.
That was
1 year. This year.
Sorry to hear that.
That was my 1 year, like, transformation, and like drove me to where I am to this year. This year, 20.
What were you doing last year?
Last year, bro, I was like just working. I was doing like network marketing, like really just trying to get around there, find myself. I was doing a lot of self-development on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't really know it was my passion, like what I was going to really pursue.
Right.
But I was just always into it. Like, I'd always be listening to interviews, like trying to find books.
Like the podcast.
Yeah, podcasts.
You're just searching for knowledge, or like, give me knowledge.
Yeah. Like, and just like, I was still fighting things. Like, I was still healing.
Right.
And then like, when all that happened in my life, like, I hit a low point again. Like, my mother passed away in December of 2019. And I hit a low point again. And I was just like battling with those same things, like guilt, shame.
Did you know she was going to pass, or it was just spontaneous?
It was like out of nowhere. Like, 1 week, she didn't look well, went to the hospital. A week later, they pronounced her dead. And like, that's another thing. Like, you don't know how long 2020 has been, what a year, like, bro, like, what a year. Like,
yeah, it's been crazy.
If you haven't learned anything from this year, like, you should learn that to value every day, right?
Yeah. A lot of people have been telling me they started self-develop, like start working on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been doing this since I was like, I don't know, I was young.
Yeah,
like,
you have a strong mind. Like, when I get around people, like, and we get into conversations like this and talking, like, you can kind of get a general read off of someone. Like, you have a strong mind. But yeah, keep going.
You can rate people's intelligence.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been doing this since like junior high, long time. And it's so funny to me because I have people who now tell me like, yeah, like I just started that this year. It's like, this year? But I get more excited when someone who's young, who's like 17 or 16, they say like, I just started working on myself because everyone around me kept saying I'm working on myself.
Exactly.
And so it became a normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there are downs to the COVID situation, but that's the positive.
That's a big plus.
And a lot of people do say the people you surround yourself with, you become.
Yeah.
So, if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, making the right decisions, you're chilling at home on Snapchat, playing video games. Like, hey, do you want to play video games? He's like, nah, I'm working on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Every day for maybe a week, you keep asking like, hey, you want to play? He's like, no, I'm working on myself. You're going to be like, let me give it a try.
Exactly. Like, you're going to want to be like, okay, like this person is doing something in their life. And then those around you that have a passion to be better will follow, right?
Yeah. It's funny how I said rate intelligence. A lot of people don't believe that.
Yeah.
That you can rate someone's intelligence by like your intelligence.
Yeah.
But it's very easy.
It's like, for me, it's more of a read in a conversation or just like just looking at someone, like just from the moment we got here, like just talking, like we can vibe off of each other's energy to grow, to like, I can tell you have a goal, you have a passion, you have a dream, you're going to follow it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that. I can tell that you've put in the work. You have the background. Like, I was asking you like about social media, like you had the answers for it. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, like I'm a little different than most people. I don't know if you listen to my podcast, but I'm not like the typical person, I think. Would you agree? Yeah. I'm not the typical person. So my entire life I've been like searching for knowledge.
Yeah.
And then I found social media and I was like, this thing is crazy. And then I researched about it. I researched everything.
Yeah.
to a degree of just, I need to know. It's an obsession of hunger of knowledge, especially when I started the podcast.
Do you believe knowledge is power?
It is. No, it is.
Yeah.
100%. Because here's the thing, right? You can tell someone, right? Okay, are you really good at reading people?
In a way, yeah. Well, I kind of have to be.
Okay, so I can walk into a party and tell you exactly who's going to talk to me, who won't talk to me.
Yeah.
And if I avoid this person, they won't even talk to me.
Okay,
like stuff like that, right? Like you can walk into a room and be like, scope it out. Who will I relate to instantly? And then you're like, okay, then. If you talk to someone, right? Let's say they don't know how to read someone very well, you can honestly gauge their intelligence because it's like you give them, because you've already seen the picture, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know if they have. And you can also tell if they're dishonest or liar, if they're lying deliberately.
Right.
Because you could say something like, oh yeah, this happened, and they're either going to agree with you, disagree with you. And a lot of people have a false sense of reality.
Yeah.
So if you say, oh, well, that didn't happen that way, it might affect them, especially if it relates to feelings or just something they thought was the truth, but it wasn't on your end. Because they don't see the individual, right? Everyone's individual. So if you tell someone one thing to add on to like the limited knowledge they have, that's all they're running with.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if you give them more knowledge, they're going to be like, they're either going to question it and be like, that's not how I saw it, and not ask you.
Yeah.
Or they're going to say, what do you mean? And then you're going to explain it, and then you're on the same page.
Yeah. And like a good coach in my life told me that like knowledge, like, okay, you can get a plan to go to the gym and work out. You can buy a gym membership, right? But if you're not in the gym working out, are you going to gain the muscles? If you're not eating the right food, are you going to gain the muscles? And that's why, like, he asked me, it's knowledge power. And I said, I didn't know. I was like, yeah. He's like, no, applied knowledge is power, because you can know all the things in the world and you can sit in a room and just be chilling and not do anything but know everything in the world. And no one knows that you know that.
Yeah.
It's not until you apply it
that people know. Yeah. It's like, well, you can't talk to a baby the way you talk to an adult.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
It would.
Imagine a baby knowing everything I know. I'd question my own reality. Like, where should I be right now?
You're smart, eh? I'm like, are you sure you're my kid, eh?
Yeah, right? You've spoken to my child. I don't know about that.
Just getting a talk. Hey, hold on. Let me call my child real quick.
Yo, get that advice for 1 second. I find young people to be the most fascinating people.
You can learn a lot from them.
Yeah, because especially you grow up with a lot of pride, a lot of
100%.
A lot of ego. You're like, okay, I know everything. And you don't learn until you realize you don't know everything.
Yeah.
Something I realize is, you surround yourself with a lot of young people and you watch how they grow and you're like, dang. Because then you experiment through them because they're young. You watch them. I love observing, and you realize, oh, we're not too different.
Exactly.
There's not much going on.
Exactly.
We're all doing life.
And like adults can learn so much about children. Like when you see little kids get into a fight or an argument and you're like, and they come like, mom, like she hit me, right? Okay, go apologize. The kid will go and apologize. I'm sorry. Okay, I forgive you. And they go back to playing. If as adults, if we were to be able to like,
do that,
go through our arguments and be like, yo, like, I'm sorry. If, like, cause kids have no pride, like
no ego, no pride,
they're
nothing.
so innocent.
Yeah.
And like, that's the beauty of it.
You got to let go of ego. I think, do I have an ego? No. Yeah. I like to think I've let go of my ego.
Yeah.
Because I understand there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm never trying to tell people what to do or what to say. I just find that to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I got to read this book. A friend of mine was telling me to read the book, Ego is the Enemy.
It is.
And I'm just dying to read that book.
I have not read that book, but it sounds like it's the right book to read.
He says there's a lot of facts and points in that book to learn.
But it's funny because a lot of people, they become in denial.
Yeah.
With ego. Because if you don't have an ego, it's funny because if you don't do something, let's say you're talking to like an attractive person, right?
Right.
You're not vibing with them. You leave. And then they're like, well, what happened? You're like, I don't know. And they're like, is it an ego thing? You're like, no. But they think it's an ego thing because they always have yes. People keep saying yes to them. So they're just confused. But ego's fascinating. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, exactly. what's it called? You don't need people in your life that are going to stab you in the back, but you need people in your life that are going to stab you in the heart. And like by saying that, I mean, like, there's people in your life that will talk behind your back, right? But will tell you the right things in your face. But the people in your life that will tell you what you need to hear and talk it to your heart are the people that you need, because they won't tell you what you need. They won't tell you what you want to hear. They'll tell you what you need to hear.
That's true.
Right.
But the downside is a lot of people are afraid of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Even myself.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm not, but I am. Sometimes reality has to strike and you're just like, it's not it.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. Like, in my relationship, like with my fiance, me and her, like in the early years of our relationship, like we've been together for 3 years now, going on 4.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We used to fight. We used to go out a lot and argue. And she would always tell me, like, why do you have to go out every weekend and get this drunk and do this or whatever, right? And I'd be like, yo, when there's a problem, why won't you talk to me? Why do you always push me away? Whatever, right? And in all of that fighting, what she was telling me to do and what I was telling her what to do, when we decided to just look at ourselves and to fix what we needed to fix individually, let go of our pride and our ego, we're able to flourish. Because it's sometimes the pride, we're prideful because someone else is telling us what to do, right?
We're prideful because someone else, what do you mean?
So like if you're a man, right?
Yeah.
And your girlfriend's like, hey baby, like, do you think you could like wash the dishes for me real quick, right? Like, you know, like I just got to go to the store or like this or whatever, right? And your friends call. Oh, no. Better example, right? Your friends are like, hey, yo, let's go play basketball, right? And like you promised your girl, like you would do something for her real quick.
Right.
So your friends call and they're like, yo, let's go hoop, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, like I told my girl, like I'd go watch the kid. I'd go do the dishes. Like, I know you don't have a kid, right? Real quick, right?
Yeah, no kid.
Yeah. Like I would go do this real quick and like, yo, you're whipped. She's controlling you, right? Like who are you spending the rest of your life with and who do you want to listen to?
Well, that's where you bring into like, who do you value?
Right.
Like who are you going to value in that situation? Like who's worth more? Your homies or your girl?
Exactly.
But to add to what you're saying before, how, you know, you'd go out, drink, you'd be like, why don't you tell me your problems?
Yeah.
You guys both have problems and you're both avoiding them.
Exactly.
Together.
Exactly.
It's almost like you're supporting each other, avoiding your problems. Yeah. You just don't know that.
Exactly.
Because you're in it.
Yeah. And like, we were so in love with each other and we're still so in love, right? And like, I thank God because that's what kept us together. But like I said, it wasn't until we were able to look at ourselves and say, like, every time we fight and every time we argue, who are we fighting against? We're fighting against ourselves to end us. But when we listen to each other and we listen to ourselves, we're working on ourselves to reach the goal of marriage and a lifetime together.
You know, the fascinating thing about working on yourself is when you think you've accomplished it. I mean, there's never an end to it.
Never an end to it. Never.
But when you become decently self-aware of, you know, working yourself and you realize, oh, other people are doing the same thing, you can sit back and look. You become more like free.
Right.
There's more freedom in it from what I noticed, because it's not even like you're never telling someone what to do. You're just telling them your perspective.
Exactly. And just like working on yourself, like I always use sports because I play sports as an example. Like
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Like, yeah, I know you play ball, right? So say if you're like a right-hand dominant player, right? And you're a driver and like the coaches know, okay, just make him go left. You're stuck to always, like, you're limited. But when you're like, okay, I need to work on myself. I want to get a jump shot and I want to get a left hand. Now you're free. Now coaches can't be like, okay, he can't drive left. You have so many more options in your life. And it's just relating back to yourself. When you start working on yourself,
you create options.
My trust issues won't affect a relationship from coming into my life. If I start working on my anxiety now, I'm able to come and sit on podcasts and talk to people. If I focus on my depression now, like I can wake up happy. Like I can know that there's joy in today. I'm blessed to be living. And your options in life become more possible because now you're looking at everything and seeing chances. You're seeing possibilities. You're starting to build belief in yourself. You're starting to let go of old habits. You're starting to build new habits, right? It's just a start.
Why do you think some people are afraid to start? Is it just that? Because you know the story, the saying where it's, at least I know my demons. Like I'm going to stay here because I know my demons versus going to a new environment, dealing with new ones.
Yeah.
Kind of like the example of, do you know Logic? Have you heard his story?
Yeah, I know Logic, but I don't know his story. No.
So he, basically what happened was his mother was completely insane.
All right.
I think she still is.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was younger, he met his friend's mom was going to take care of him.
Right.
I think, don't quote me on this. I'm trying to remember the story, but it's essentially what he went up to her and literally said, do not report me to child services because I won't know what to do if I go into a new house because I know how to, operate in what I am in.
Yeah.
So he is like, there's more, stability in keeping with your demons than having to go find new ones and deal with those.
Yeah.
Do you think that might be?
I feel like for me, like a lot of people are scared to face their demons. Like a lot of people are scared to go against, like for people that have like traumatic past. There's this awesome preacher, her name is Joyce Meyer. Like, and I read a lot of her books. Like her father would sexually abuse her, right? And her mother was always scared to face him. And like she was scared to face him, right? Mm-hmm. But when she chose to face that challenge and forgive him, right? Because forgiveness was the challenge for her. She was freed. So like I feel like the biggest thing that stops people kind of from taking your question, right? I think it's just the fear of facing their demons and the fear of not winning that battle. So like say if I was to come here and talk about everything that I talked about and then be ridiculed and then fall back into anxiety and depression, that's what would have stopped me from going after my goal.
See,
the fear of failing.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Gotta come prepared.
Yeah,
exactly. I hope you're prepared.
Exactly.
I agree with that. Yeah. And there's so much that goes into that.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know.
Exactly.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. And it's like even for mental health, like and men, and like there's a stigma around mental health with men, right? And for me, the way I look at it is,
can you go into that? Because I'm not too like heavily on that. I mean, I've been working on myself since, because I push that stuff out of my life because I'm like, it's so irrelevant because I don't need to be like, there's like, not that it's irrelevant.
Yeah. Be careful. Be careful with how you say that.
Yeah. It just, there's certain, like I say, there's levels to it. And I've passed that level of just searching.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, now I'm just beating myself up every day, being like, what can I do better on like tiny things?
Yeah. I'd say you're growing, like, cause like there's growth, like you're leveling up. You're not decreasing. So,
well, I'm not reading the fundamentals anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So mental health, there's like a stigma around it that like, especially for men, and I'm going to talk about men right now for a bit. And mental health, like I said, 1 in 4 of Canadians will struggle from a mental health problem in their life. And that's known, like, and there's so many more cases of people that don't know. And the suicide rate in men is 3 times higher than women. And that's because a lot of men see the stigma around holding it in, or they're seen as weak, right? For talking about an issue in your mind. The way I look at mental health and just the fight with it, if there's a battle in your mind, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're in a fight with your mind, are you going to sit there and get beat up and let all these anxiety and depression just stomp on you, like picture that they're just stomping on you, or are you going to get up and fight back against it? To me, there's strength in fighting back than taking it. And that's the stigma that I want to break. I want to break that.
You know what?
A lot of people don't believe, and this is what stops them, is that they can get better.
That's really interesting.
That they can get better.
No, actually, I can see that. Never mind. I can see that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't believe that they can really get better, that they can really change the way they think and feel about themselves, right?
Right.
So for me, what I do is I try to allow people to believe, because they have to believe in anything that you do. In you being a podcaster, you need to believe that you can do it to start, right? Just start it. You need to believe you can do it.
It's an idea.
Exactly. To go and fight your mental health. You're like, for me, playing sports, I would never get into it. Like I probably would still play because I'm competitive, but like if I know I'm going to get embarrassed, if I don't believe that I'm going to make this team, Like if I'm going against like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and freaking like Shaq or whatever, right?
Right.
In their prime, there's no way. And like there's three spots to make the team, right? Say there's a 3-man spot roster to make the team, and it's Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant, right? I don't believe I'm gonna make the team, so I'm not gonna,
even in your prime.
Even my real, bro, I'm getting blown out by 30. I'm getting blown out by 30. But,
no.
but like, I'm not gonna go to the tryouts because I'm not gonna make the team. Like obviously I'd go because Stephen Curry,
right?
All of that. But for my point, I'm trying to make, like, if I don't believe I can do something, I'm not gonna start.
So would you show up?
I'd show up just to get Stephen Curry's autograph. Yeah.
What if okay, let's rephrase that question. Let's say it's just really good players with their skill level.
Yeah.
And people just keep telling you, oh, they're really, really good, but you don't know their names. You've never seen them play. Would you still show up?
Yeah, I would show up, but it has to start from a belief in yourself.
Yeah.
It's just comes back down to the same answer. I would show up because I believe that I'm capable of making it, and like putting it back to mental health. Cause like I use sports comparisons a lot because for me, it's easy to relate it to, but going back to mental health, I need to believe inside that I can get past this. I can grow. Like I need to believe that I can help people to start.
What's like the best advice you'd have to men?
To men?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're like back to the battlefield of the mind, and the best advice to men, because men, like, we're more dominant. We want to fight. So if you're in a fight and and someone punches you in the face, are you gonna punch them back, or are you gonna take the hit?
Me? If you asking me?
If you're in a fight, yeah.
I wouldn't do anything. I'd just be like, why you hit me?
Okay.
I'm more of like,
if it's affecting you, okay.
But it depends on the circumstance too. Like if I was heated, right? Like let's say we're in a bar fight, I'd be like, all right, I got nothing to lose. But if some guy just walks up to me, we're just talking, having a conversation, he gets mad, punches me, I'm literally just gonna look at him and be like, what is wrong with you?
Okay. And anyways, bro, if it's your mental health that you're dealing with, like your longevity, like bettering yourself, and there's something that keeps attacking you, are you gonna avoid it, or are you gonna deal with it?
Right.
And my best advice to men is, us as men, sometimes it's not about yourself, but it's about who else you will help. And there's so many men that don't think that them coming out will help another man come out. But like there's power in your own story to influence someone else, to help someone else.
It's true. My advice,
yes,
what I would give, this is just from my years of being lonely. Something that I actually worked on myself during, like, I think this was 2 or 3 years ago, was talking about my feelings and integrating it into my conversation. So it's a bit nerve-wracking at first. I think it took like a month or two to really have that in my like sphere of conversation, but just expressing so talk about everything, right?
Yeah.
I basically turn into a girl. I'm just talking about everything. My feelings, what I'm feeling, how I'm expressing things. Like I don't care what you think. I'm just letting you know. And then something I realized was like, girls do not expect that from a guy.
Nah.
So when you start talking about stuff, it scares them.
Exactly.
Because they're usually the ones who are like what's the word? Giving it. So it's a bit different. But then when you're giving it, it's almost like you tower it, and then they're just, oh my goodness.
And then like,
but that's my best advice.
It's just to talk about it.
Integrate it into your life. Just because something I learned is people don't remember things. No one remembers anything. And I think men have this whole thing of, oh, if I say this, they're going to remember it. They're going to hold over me. I'm going to look like a little baby. I'm going to, like, you know what I mean? I'm going to look like a wuss. It's not for me. So they're just like, okay, I'm going to keep this manly attitude for the rest of my life. Thing is, no one cares.
Yeah. And that's so true. Like, talking about it. And the thing is, we put so much thought into what other people will think that they don't even care. Like, remember how you asked me, like, did I ever think that my age was going to be a problem? I thought my age was going to be a problem. Like, it would hold me back from going, because I'm like, no one's going to take me serious. Right. And once I stepped out, like, I haven't experienced that at all,
Yeah. I don't think you will. And the great thing about you starting early is you are a staple to younger generations.
Yeah. And that's all. Like, look at my Instagram bio. A voice for my generation. Like, that's all I want to be. Like, a voice for my generation.
That's kind of one of the reasons I started a podcast too, is because I know young people have a lot more to say than old people.
Yeah.
Because they're always struggling. They're always overcoming something.
Yeah.
They got something to say every 5 minutes. So it's great that I am able to give a voice to everyone.
And a platform. Yeah, exactly. A platform. It's beautiful.
Because you can't hit up Joe Rogan. You know, you can't be a high school student and be like, hey man, I want to hop on your podcast. Joe Rogan's gonna be like, well, what have you done in life? You know,
I'm DMing him, don't worry. I'm like, yo, bro.
Let me on. But that was one of my I guess topic of ideas or just staples.
Yeah,
things to
and like
back.
I like another thing that you do is like you give a voice for Calgarians. Like
Yeah,
I love that about you. I saw that and I was like, oh, this is so blessed. Like what he's doing, it's good because there's so much talent here.
So much.
It's crazy.
Okay, wait. Side topic.
Yeah.
We'll come back to mental health in just a second.
Yeah.
Did you see the Instagram photo of the cop who threw the lady on the ground?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It was totally unnecessary. It's sad, and it's in our own backyard.
It's in Calgary, yeah. Did you did you read the articles after what happened? How he got arrested for assault, and then he said he didn't mean to throw her into the ground face first.
No, I didn't see that. No,
and he totally didn't mean to.
And that's terrible, man. And like I love how much Calgary rode for each other, like how much we rided for that. Because like if you were to check Instagram that day, everyone's story was sharing that, and the love, and like that's where the change starts, right?
The thing is, no, you're handcuffed, right?
Yeah.
You're handcuffed. You have no momentum.
Yeah.
It's basic physics. Someone moves you, your hands are going to go back because you want to get your balance. But if you're handcuffed, you can't throw your arms around you, so they go back.
Yeah.
Which means it throws you and the cop. Yeah. It was a very aggressive throw.
It was honestly disgusting.
And I think she broke her nose or her jaw.
Bro, her head bounced like off it's just.
There was so much blood.
It was disgusting. Like it was terrible. It's like, this is the people that we look to protect us. And like, this is
what they're doing.
And this is why we feel unsafe. And like being a black man, like for myself, like I wonder where this fear, because for me, I have a fear, like a natural fear that I didn't know why I had this of police. Every time a cop is around me, I'm scared that he's going to look at me differently just because of the color of my skin. When I'm driving my car and a cop is beside me, like I'm scared, like he's just going to pull me over. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think racism in Canada is more towards the indigenous. It's very aggressive. Have you seen it?
It's tough.
It's more aggressive.
It goes way back. It goes way back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah.
The article that was released, how he said he didn't mean to. He was arrested for assault. So
the cop got arrested?
Yeah, so it does actually give some nice, the public being like the public is actually a voice.
Yeah.
Because usually when you see stuff like that happening, nothing happens. But
yeah.
And it's just stuck and you're just confused because you're like, this is not right.
Exactly.
Anyways, that's just a little thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, no, for real. That was disgusting. Like
it was not. I showed my parents. My parents were like, wow, I can't watch that again.
And that's only because it was caught on camera. Like now think about how many more things that happen that aren't caught on camera.
Did it run out? I think so. There's like 8 minutes left in that. I'm horrible at. Anyways, back to your mental health. Yeah, where we left off was talking about feelings. Men should talk about their feelings. That's something I definitely recommend to most individuals.
Yeah,
especially men, because I think they just care too much.
It will bless your life too. Like in your relationship, like men go into relationships holding in their feelings against their girl. And their girl's just craving for that emotion. And as a man, like he can't show that side. And then their relationship just slowly goes away.
What's your best advice to anyone in a relationship?
I'd say just focus on what you can do. Don't always go and judge your partner and tell them what they should be doing better. First, look at yourself and just remember that you guys are a team. Every time you guys get into an argument or you get into a fight, you're not fighting for each other. You're fighting against each other. If there's something that you guys need to talk about and work on it for the benefit of each other. Because when you get into a relationship, you need to ask, are you guys in this for the long term or short term? So my best advice is when you guys are in a fight, when you're in an argument, who are you fighting against? Are you fighting against yourselves or are you fighting for yourselves as a team?
Right. I've never been in a relationship.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I never dated anyone.
Oh, wow. You're joking, right?
Nope.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
No, I don't. No, I have no interest.
Oh wow. Just focused,
I'm
eh?
just gonna die alone. It's the plan. I'm just kidding. Just wait. Like
The right girl will come. Don't worry, yo. At the right time, at the right place, yo. You won't even see it coming. Why are you making that face?
you know what? Get it to him. He needs help. Is that what happened to you?
Pardon?
Is that what happened to you?
Or my girl?
Yeah, she just walked in, like, break down the doors. What's up?
Okay, so for me, like, I have a faith in God, and like, I know everyone doesn't have a faith in God, and I'm totally not judgmental to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me and my girlfriend, we were both in a time in our lives where we were wanting that other person.
Mm-hmm.
She was praying to God for somebody.
Like that serious relationship,
Yeah.
not like the whole phase.
Yeah, she was praying for somebody to help her with the things that she has been through, with her pain, to bring her happiness and joy. And I was praying for someone that wouldn't give up on me because I knew what I came with, right? I knew that I had these things that I haven't dealt with, like someone who would never give up on me. And like we were both praying for that love, right? And 2 weeks later, like my friend was talking to her friend, and then like literally,
They're clapping for you, bro.
Yeah, I heard that too. And then literally,
Happy for you.
and then out of nowhere, right? He hits her up. He's like, "Yo, like my fiance's name is Angie, right?" He's like, "Yo, Angie, and so I'm not gonna say he wants to chill, right? Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Yo, let's go."
Right.
And then like we literally were like we were grinding at that time, right? We didn't have a car, and we were like the train was right here, and the door was open. He's like, "Yo, are we going?" I'm like, "Let's go." And then we went, and then from that moment on, like we just vibed at her house, and it was history. So
was this high school?
I was graduated, and she was in grade 11 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just met.
And then we went to her house and we just vibed, you know, we were playing music, playing games, dancing and stuff like that. And we just vibed. And from that moment on, like there was a spark with us that we just kept going for.
Yeah, that's crazy. Something I heard the other day, I don't know if this is factual or not, but when it comes to men and women, women who go to school for, I don't know, let's say engineering or just go to school and they learn a lot, men get like a rating of like intelligence. Because if a woman's seeking intelligence, she wants a man smarter than her, right? Yeah. To be like, let's make sure we're on the same page. And then guys will just go for, what was it? I can't remember what the thing was, but intelligence is like a rating for individuals. And I don't know where I stand in that, because I'm not even trying to say like, I'm not like looking for someone, but it's just so hard. Yeah. Because I don't know what my intelligence is on a rating. I really don't. It's just hard because sometimes I'll talk to people and because I face reality aggressively. I'm a very honest person.
That's good.
So when I'm talking to someone, I'm usually honest, right? Yeah. I'm like, no. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you no. Or I'm gonna be like, I'm not going. Like it just casually rolls off the tongue. I'm just honest with it. Yeah. Which is hard because a lot of people want that instant vibe. Yeah. And I'm more of I'm gonna take my time. I'm not trying to like ruin my life. Yeah. Because I understand like I see it. I see it through high school. Yeah. Everyone's dating everyone every 5 minutes. Someone's dating someone in university. Just as bad, but just longer. And then you're just like, do I want to?
It's tough. Like, cause like there's obviously a lot of the relationships you get into won't last, right? But you still learn a lot from them.
Well, some people have long relationships.
Yeah, bro.
Like 3 years at a time.
Yeah, from high school. Like even LeBron, like he's been with this girl since high school.
Yeah, but even some people, like when they only date people, they date people for a long time. Yeah. Like they want it to work. Yeah. It's like 3 years, you date someone in high school, 10, 12, 3 years, university, break up with them, 4 years. And then you're like, and then another 4 years. It's like, it's crazy.
Don't quote me on this, but I think I saw something that you find like your partner for life in high school or something, or like from ages like 16 or 17 or 18 or 19, something like that is when you will find.
I'm not surprised,
where
actually.
Most people will find their soulmate.
I'm not surprised because that's when you're engaging with probably the most amount of people in your life.
Yeah. And that's where it's found.
Yeah, because when you're 30, what are you doing?
That's when you're looking for the wife. Like,
yeah. Well, not just that. Like, you don't have a lot of people in your life at that point.
You don't really have as much time for the dating phase. Yeah. But who are we to talk, right? Like I'm 22.
You're about to get married.
I'm about to get married, but like I'm not in a 30-year-old's position, right?
That's true.
And I want 30-year-olds to know that, love is still out there for you, right? Go look for it.
A lot of people put an age on it.
Yeah.
They're like, you have to this and that, and it's a little frustrating because I talk to my friends too, and they're just like, I know it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe I missed out, maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, if you're gonna put the work into it, they'll put the work into it.
Yeah.
And if they don't put the work into it, it's not meant to be.
And it's just like just become the best version of yourself, and you'll attract what you need.
You know what's funny?
Into your life.
It's really, really funny.
Huh.
I don't know if I should say this, but I talk to every single person the same way. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you the same way I'm talking. Like he's even shaking his head. Every girl, it doesn't matter if you are the hottest person in the room or if you're not, who you are, I'm going to talk to you the same way.
Right.
Which is fascinating to me. This is something I've been like fascinated by. Is I have girls who just like me, fall in love with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm talking to you, like, you're not special. And they think they're special.
Yeah.
But then I realize it's not that they think they're special. It's that someone is actually giving them something that no one else is giving them. Because I give as much as I can to everyone.
That's good.
So it's like, it's a bit different when you talk to me versus when you talk to someone else. Cause I'm like, what's life like? I'm encouraging you. I'm telling you, yeah, that's awesome. Do it. Go for it. I'm never trying to put negativity into your life unless you have done something to me that is ridiculous. Shout out to like all the girls I've just put through. But yeah, I find it fascinating because it's like you talk to everyone the same way and then they gravitate to you, but it's weird almost in a sense.
It's like everyone has like a sense of what or a qualities that they look for in a guy, and like you unconsciously are giving them those qualities, right?
But to me, I think that's normal.
Yeah.
Because I've surrounded myself with the people who do the exact same thing, which is give life. Like we are here to live life. We're not here to run around in circles with like our heads chopped off like chickens.
Exactly. Even like, you know, like for me and my fiance, it's like, whoa, you're such a good guy. Like I wish like, you know, like a guy would treat me like this, you know? It's like the right guy will treat you the right way you need to be treated.
Yeah, but there are some, guys don't do this. There's a lot of girls who have a perception of a guy, which is not reality.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that. I mean, I've argued with certain girls. I'm like, you can't expect that. That's so unrealistic. That's like a prince. That's like something that you don't get here in Calgary.
Like it's
not just Calgary, but just
we're
like
just all human.
In life. Yeah.
We're just all human, you know, like I do believe in finding the right love, but it's not going to be what you look like. Like you're going to have your fights. You're going to have your arguments. He's going to say stuff to you. She's going to say things to you.
It's going to be chaotic.
Because love is an action, right?
Yeah.
And like, you're going to go through it. You're going to grow. You're going to strengthen that action of love. And you're going to just see if it's worth fighting for or not.
And, yeah, I don't know if it's a lot of girls. I don't want to put you guys into the mix because you might be listening to this and you're like, excuse me.
Yeah, I know. I'm being careful with my words too right now.
But I'd say majority of the girls I've met have that unrealistic concept of men, or just like of the guy they want. Yeah. But it's just life. Yeah. I mean, we all realize like, oh, we're just human. It's some people work on themselves and some people don't. And that's really the only qualities that you get out of someone.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say. Yeah.
And like a lot of the girls that like probably say that, I don't think they like actually believe it, you know, because like
no.
They believe it.
Yeah, I actually had I was talking to this one girl just normally. Okay. I was talking to her normally, all right. And it was a conversation kind of turned into not really an argument, more of just like asking me certain questions, and I have no hesitation of answering them. I'm like, whatever, she's just curious. Got mad at me, blocked me. I was like so confused. And then I guess like 2 days later, she was talking to another friend of mine and she ended up crying because she was like, why is it so hard to find a guy who's not like this? And then she literally pulled out a list on her notes, of every single thing she wants in a guy. And my friend just looked at her and she's like, that's not even realistic.
Yeah.
But different times in life, like it's different understandings of life. Did it die? Ended? It's different understandings of life that, you know, some person's like, oh, I think this is what I want. And someone's like, that's not really what you get though.
You're right. Like, I'm gonna be careful for like with what I say here.
Okay.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh, it's everything?
Hold on, what? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is it still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay. Like, I'm gonna be careful with what I'm saying here, but like, because I do like I like when girls hold an expectation for themselves, like because I have a daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want her to have a guy that treats her right and is there for her, you know, that is committed to her,
Mm-hmm.
right? And treats her well. And I think those are things that are true, but like from a thing, if you guys get into a fight or into an argument, right? Or if he says the wrong things, that doesn't mean he doesn't treat you well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a time, right? You're caught in the moment.
It's like you said, love is, what do you say? Love is an action. Yeah. So even if he doesn't come with all of those traits, he's still loving you.
Exactly.
He's still like, you are the one.
Exactly. He didn't quit on you, right? You know?
Yeah.
So it's there.
But I think a lot of people just want to, I can't even say that. I've never been in a relationship. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
But I was going to say maybe some people just want that quitting.
Yeah. It's like, okay. And like back to your list, like if your list is like, I need him to be, you know, 6'5", you know, this, that, like that's.
I guess I should probably go more into the list. The list was like, when I say unrealistic, I'm talking like really, there was maybe like 5 realistic things on there that I can see most guys following.
Yeah.
But like when you love someone, that list shouldn't be there.
It will like go away.
Yeah, it'll go away instantly once you love someone because you're like, oh, I actually love this guy and that list is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But some of the expectations she had on him was like, it wasn't even like the things that just come with love. It was just things around it that she was like, he has to do this. It was almost like he has to drive a truck. He has to have a house by 30.
Yeah.
Like,
things that's gonna be hard to find. But if you find them, like, good on you. Yeah,
because when you're in a relationship, I'm guessing it's a partnership.
Yeah,
you are doing life together.
Exactly. You know, you become one in a way.
Like you and your wife are saving up. Actually, I won't use your example, but like when you're married, you and your wife, or you and your husband, are saving for a house together.
Yeah.
Now, it's not one of them saving for a house. You are saving for a car, maybe together.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have your own goals in life and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to buy this car, but I'm still going to put money for the house.
Right.
It's a partnership. It's not just a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Big time. And it's like back to what I said, like when you're in a relationship, like it's for the good of both of you, right? If you guys are going against each other, you're only going to the worst, like to ending you guys. You're not really going towards your goals and your dreams of what, like buying a house and getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say conflict helps growth?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say so. I won't say conflict helps growth. I'll say learning from your conflicts helps growth. If you guys constantly get into fights and you have your conflicts, but you can continually repeat it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to benefit anything. But if you're getting to conflicts and you're learning from those things, I think it does help you grow.
Do you reminisce a lot from your arguments?
Yeah, we honestly joke about a lot of it now. Like me and my girl, we're so tight, you know, we joke, but like we reminisce about it, and it all just mostly came down to us, like insecurities or jealousy, being right versus being wrong. Like I hated being wrong and she hated being wrong too. So like that, you can already tell like what that caused in our relationship. Cause like I'd always be like, no, like, it was supposed to be like this, that. No, like this, in an argument, right?
Yeah.
And we still have that trait in us about wanting to be right all the time.
Right. But
now it's more of a joking matter. And we still get into fights, but when we get into a fight, like I'll look at her and I'll be like this, like, you know, you're going to talk to me tomorrow, right? Do you want to stay mad? And then she'll literally be like, tell her friend, she's like, oh, it makes me so mad when he does that because he's right.
Like, where are you going?
Yeah, like, let's say, like, I'm going to be here with you tomorrow. Like, you know, like, do you want to still be mad about this? And then she just rolls her eyes because it's done with.
Yeah, it's the truth though. Where's she going, bro?
Exactly.
That's love though, which is, I like that. I don't think I've ever been in love. Maybe I have. I don't know.
It'll find you, bro. You can't avoid it.
I can't avoid it. Yeah, that's what he's been telling me too. Everyone's like, can't avoid it. Yo, one day it's going to go viral just as a girlfriend.
Yeah, bro. It'll be on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. If I have a girlfriend, I'm actually like, it's funny because I don't really care, honestly. I think it's more, if I had a girlfriend and she wasn't into social media, I'd actually be really okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
There's a lot of celebrities that like hide their loved ones or whatever.
And I was thinking, I'm like, before I was like, dude, if I get a girlfriend, I'm gonna exploit her so hard. Like she come on the podcast, doing YouTube, she do everything with me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? That's not really my place.
Yeah. And like, you kind of, in a way, you kind of want her to compliment you, right? So like, say if she's constantly doing her YouTube videos, her podcasting,
She
right?
do mine, bro. Mine.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. But say if she was going against you, right? You know, you kind of want that companionship or where you can go to of someone who's not constantly caught up in that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, actually. I have no idea.
Yeah. You have no clue, right?
No
Yeah.
clue.
I guess we're just talking into the future, bro.
Calm down.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's going to happen soon, yo.
Who knows?
Girl, like, I was listening to your podcast.
Yeah, that's like fascinating, right? You know the crazy thing about YouTube and just being a social presence is people are more open to you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So it's kind of different versus, you know, just meeting someone, you might be a little uneasy about them, like, I'm a little curious. But if you know how they work, you've heard them talk.
Yeah.
You like the way you like them.
Oh, I see where you're going here. Yeah, I see, yeah.
It's gonna be, it's like, you know when guys talk to girls in the street?
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, shoot.
You have no clue, nothing about her, right? No background.
And they might be scared of you, might be a little like uneasy, like, oh, this guy's like 6'1", walking up to me, I'm like 5'1", a little intimidating. Yeah. Maybe he has like a intimidating presence. But like if you're on YouTube, you're always making funny videos and stuff, they're gonna be like, oh, you got from YouTube.
Exactly. They know your vibe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like they know they're not about to get kidnapped.
Exactly. Yeah. Straight up. No. That's true. That's facts.
Yeah. Even with guys too, but I find, who do you think has it worse in mental health?
Who has it the worst? I'd say, honestly, yeah. I'm gonna say it can be the same for anybody, right? I don't want to say that a woman has it worse than a man.
I guess, yeah. I sort of phrase that better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying men probably deal with it in different kind of ways than women. Like women probably get a lot more body shaming than men, or a way that they need to look.
The beauty standards.
Yeah. They get that or whatever. Then men like need to be strong. They need to be tough. They can't break down. But both of them deal with mental health. Like I can't say one person.
That's true.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, even though I'm on social media, I don't really consume it.
Yeah. Oh, me too. But you can't.
You can't. No.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Like I will look at it, but I'll look at it with like a wall.
Yeah.
Like there will be a wall of, you know, this isn't me. This isn't my reality.
Yeah,
These guys are just making videos. They're just promoting things, and it came to a point in my life where I just thought everything on social media was fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everything like that, I'm like, this is fake.
Yeah, a lot of it is. And for me, I just became more intentional with my social media. So like I follow people that are going to put good things into my head or into my mind, like people that are more real. Like obviously my friends, and I still follow people, but I'm just more intentional on it. So when I'm scrolling through Instagram, like, I don't know, I think I just developed this sense of like, bro, you've been scrolling for too long, like get off. Time to get off. And I'm like, you're not using it no more to grow yourself, your brand or whatever, or like you're not taking in positive stuff. Like time to get off.
You know what I love?
Yeah.
Have you do the update on your phone?
I don't think so, no.
Dang. You can actually you can like have videos playing while you do other stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I have like a podcast playing when I'm doing other stuff.
That's sick.
It's so fun.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah. My camera guy's laughing because I just found this out today, and the update's been out for like a week.
Bro, I'm more behind you, man. Like I got to get on it.
Nah, it's okay. But I love growth. Like if I could do one thing for the rest of my life, I just want to grow.
Yeah.
And if I'm just getting too deep into this, but if I was in a relationship, I would just want them to almost be smarter than me, or as smart as me, or just, I don't even know if smart, intelligent, but just like real.
Yeah, that same mindset of growth.
Yeah, it's so hard to find. It's like,
bro, you're gonna find your girl from this podcast.
I don't know about that.
Yo,
I doubt it.
She's coming from this podcast.
She ain't listening to this podcast.
She's taking notes. Okay, growth. Okay, focus. Okay, I gotta support his grind. Like, yo, she's taking notes right now.
That would be crazy. That's all I gotta say. I don't know. That would be, I don't know. I doubt it. Most guys who find the girls apparently don't watch their stuff. I think that's cap.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Most social media presences who like have girlfriends like, yeah, they don't watch my stuff. That's mad cap.
I have no clue.
It's cap, bro. I know you be watching my stuff.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what I'd want. Just, I feel weird saying that. Just someone who's like intelligent.
Yeah.
I like intelligent people because I can bounce so many things off of them. And it's so, so nice just to have a conversation. Like I find you can even ask like anyone you know, dude, I will prefer a conversation over any single thing. I'm not even kidding. Like if it's just having a conversation with you, I prefer that over everything.
Bro, you're doing the right thing with these podcasts, straight up then.
That's what I'm saying.
Like for sure, you got those conversations going. For me, it was like just more of I want to vibe. I want to connect with someone on like another level. I want that companionship, that I want to be comfortable, and I want to know that this person's not going to give up on me when times get tough, and I'm not going to give up on them. And like, thank God, I got that.
Yeah, but to throw that back into the mix, the people who won't give up on you understand people are just people. So there's a lot of them. It's not like there's a niche market. Maybe there's a niche amount of people because there's a lot of stubborn people out there.
Yeah. But
the people who won't give up on you is the people who just realize it's just life. Like you're just doing you.
Yeah.
There's not much more to it. We all try to figure things out differently. It could be just like talking to every girl, trying to be like, what do I find? Talking to every guy, what do I find?
Yeah.
Or it could be, I check out social media. Maybe I can learn something off YouTube. It's all over the place.
Big time, yeah, for sure.
I love that. Anyways, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, bro.
We can have a part 2.
Yeah, yo, I'm down. Got to call out some more friends, some people.
We can get Omar.
Omar, yeah, we'll bring him up on.
All right. I'm ending the podcast there. You can find me at Josiah's Boring Life for a Boring Podcast. And
check me out on Instagram at Tarrik_Anderson and Your Vision. Also, yo, don't sleep on me. I'm going to be on TikTok soon. Follow that soon. Yeah,
waiting for that.
I'll be hitting you guys with those motivational quotes, some dance moves. I used to dance back in the day. So
yeah, put your comments in the comment section. Drop a review. Subscribe. Bye.
Yes, sir.